Welcome back, listeners, to Mindful Living Podcast with your host, Sana, the show where we dive deep into conscious living, mindful journeys, and transformative power of the human spirit. Now, today we are exploring what it means to live in the new earth. Yeah, you heard it right. And how mindfulness plays a key role in creating this elevated existence. And to help me with this conversation, we have a very special guest who is someone truly embodying the spirit of exploration, resilience, and personal evolution. From living abroad in the vibrant Lake Chapala area of Mexico to traveling to Guinea-Bissau to connect with her Fula ancestry, to creating life-changing curriculums for the next generation, she is a storyteller, a healer, and a guide. With her incredible portfolio of books, blogs, and educational tools, she is here to inspire all of us to break barriers and find harmony within ourselves and the world. So let's all give a warm welcome to our guest, Queen de Michele. So, Queen, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor having you with us today.
Thank you so much. That introduction has warmed my soul. It was so eloquently spoken, and I'm like, oh, so thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm really happy to be here and to talk about what is New Earth. What is New Earth? First, how I found myself in this community of thought, because I'm sure that's the question. How did you even find yourself in this community of thought? I moved to Mexico after retiring, and I had from teaching. I was an elementary, middle school teacher for 27 years, and I retired. And after I retired, I moved to Mexico. And it was in Mexico that I experienced a spiritual awakening. Mexico, one of my blogs, as I documented my time there, it says the energy of Lakeside. And it talks about that freshwater lake, Lake Chapala, which is the largest lake in the country of Mexico. And I talk about the mountains that are that I hiked, that are absolutely magical. And I talked about the vortex that was there, this experience that I had. I experienced sacred medicine, I partaked in sacred medicine. It was this whole experience that I had there. And I had that opportunity to have that experience because I was in a place without the distractions. For the first time in my life, I left the States because I couldn't retire there comfortably. So now I had a chance to turn inward. There was no distractions. And I discovered me on the inside. I discovered my soul self. And what a journey it has been ever since. From that, I want to first of all say that New Earth is not a place, but rather a state of consciousness. I'm going to say that again. New Earth is not a place, but it's a state of consciousness. Now, I wrote a book called Traveling Home Together. It is a New Earth guidebook, and it takes the reader on a very meaty, metaphoric journey that gently leads them deeper within themselves to shine the brightest light on the egoic self. See, that's what happens when you turn inward. There's your soul self, that self that is connected to all that is. And when you align yourself with the goal, and because you're either being driven by your ego or your soul self. Either your soul self is in the front seat, leading, guiding, directing, or your ego. You're being driven by that ego, and ego is a huge, to be able to break that down and to dive into the depths of the the conditioning and the programming that t- took place from the time you were able to understand language. Okay, so while at the same time I introduce you to your soul self, uh, this book would resonate with those who are newly awakened or awakening souls, because it kind of helps them navigate that shift in consciousness that they're experiencing. See, when you think about ascension, you think about moving up. This consciousness, there's no levels. We can't think lateral about it. These levels again. So when you go within, that's the ascension. Ascension is not upward. Ascension is inward. And when you grasp that 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 truth, that very simple truth, when you gnaw on that for a while, that nugget, ascension is not upward, it's inward. And the thing about what I call the matrix, the system, this this 3D, this third dimensional type uh, uh, place, collective consciously that we're in, it keeps us so distracted that we don't go within. Everything is without, even the God we worship. I grew up Baptist. So that God I was taught, that lived in heaven, sat on high and looked down low, and he was a judge, and I would never be worthy enough. I would never be able to pray enough or fast enough or give enough offering or give. It would just, when things went wrong,
Mhm.
it's because I'm not paying enough. I'm not praising enough. I'm not fast. And when you go within and you meet your soul self, it's this, ah, there you are. And in that space, your hand is taken, and any and everything you ever needed to know is there for you. They don't pour it all into you at one time, your soul self. But you gradually make this shift through mindfulness, and you will know that that you're on this shift because of what you're feeling. Something's not right. So something's this doesn't this this doesn't I don't think it's not supposed, all of that. That's your soul. That's your soul crying out. Your soul cries out. And it'll continue to do that. And until you turn inward. How do you turn inward? Well, there's my first, and I'm gonna tell you how I met my soul self. It's through meditation. It is meditation. It is meditation. Even those small little keys that I took with me from Christianity or being Baptist is that the kingdom of God is within. That, if that's not a truth to stand on, but at the same time they teach you to pray to this God that's outwardly. There's this separation, but going inward, you realize there's no separation. There's and here's my motto. This is what, and this all happened, like I said, living in Mexico. My uh crown chakra blew wide open. I was always on this path. As I look back over, I look at things that I said and wrote 20 years ago. And it's like I was always on my way here. This was in the synchronicities and this ebb and flow that I have with the universe now is this dance of why I'm this my purposeful, wonderful life. I know why I'm here. I know who I am. And that's what being awakened means. Okay, so here's my here's my gist. You think Queen D. Michele, this is what I got from all of this, and this is the gist of Living New Earth, my platform. Here it is.
Wow. It's
God, okay, go ahead.
I mean,
I'm gonna say it, and then you. Okay, so it's God in me, expressed in form as me, is experiencing itself through me and is me. I and my creator are one. I am one with all that is. That is connection to one's soul self. I live from within out. You feel me? Not outward. I live from within out. And that's a state of consciousness. I'm living new earth now. I'm living new earth now. Do I ebb and flow within that third dimension, old earth, that third dimension, that heavy, dense inner? Absolutely. It's been extremely heavy energetically here this week. After the election, I mean, not after the swearing, after Donald Trump was sworn in. I'm telling you, sweetheart, for one who feels energy and being a new earth representative, the energy is so dense. It's palatable here. A lot of people don't even know why is it, why am I, what, ugh. They can't even put it into words. They can't even explain this. And I get that. But at the same time, my state of consciousness is that of new earth, So I am an observer of that, but I'm also a feeler. I feel that density. I feel that. And I do want to add this too. I returned to the States to care for my parents. Unexpectedly, I became their full-time caregiver. Left Mexico and thought I was just coming to check on them, and wound up staying here. And all of this work, just all that work that I had done, the books that I wrote, I was getting ready to do this wonderful workshop and 8-month workshop, and I got the call. And so I put all that aside. 2 years. It was 2 years that work sat. And then I gifted my niece with a book. One of the books I wrote, 52 Insights for Living New Earth Now. And she said, wow, Auntie, this would be great for a high school. And I thought, you're right. So long story short, I created the lessons to go along with that book for 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. Now that book is it's a curriculum, a mindfulness curriculum for 7th, 8th, and 9th, for Gen Alpha, actually, Generation Alpha. And that's those individuals born between 2010 and 2024. The oldest of that generation turned 13 last year. We still have a moment. That's the generation. Think about it, Alpha. That's the generation who's responsible for the evolution of the collective consciousness of humanity. They are the ones. They are the first generation to be born fully in the 21st century. Okay, that means, and they are the generation who has only been taught externally. You feel me? Meaning the tablet in the went in the hand at one. It went. They always, and it's not the parents' fault, because when they realize, oh wow, it does. I can get the dishes done. Oh man, I can do this, that. Because that's where we were, and then they were busy trying to keep up with it too. And I get it. Technology is wonderful. I love it. But what we missed with them, which is extremely important, is that we didn't give them the social intelligence necessary to balance and or navigate. We didn't give them the balance of all that external. We didn't balance it with the social intelligence that's necessary. So it's out of balance with it. But mindfulness is what will, if we I'm just trying to introduce it to the school, because way back in the day, didn't we have economics and shop and all those things that was about that? But what we're about now with technology, it needs to be a balance. And see, my the curriculum does that. And it's called now 52 Insights for Gen Alpha, a conscious curriculum. So all that work I did, it was never intended for the audience that I thought it was for. It was always for Gen Alpha. I did a deep dive. That's conscious. That's being led, guide. Just trust in the universe and being led by your soul self. Being turn left, call him, go there, do that. And it's such a pleasant ride. And even when it's dark, because coming back here, it got real dark, real dark. Uh, but what came out of it was that conscious curriculum for Generation Alpha. You feel me? And because had I not been here, had I not had this, you understand the synchronicity that's driving because of it. I was always meant. That was the journey. That was you feel me, to be that light. I am a light worker, a way shower, a frequency code holder, and a new earth representative. I am here. I came forth for a time such as this. And I'm extremely excited to be talking to you. This just once again just confirms, yes, this was a dark week this week, and you have just lit me up again. You have lit me up. And I want you to know, too, that I'm heading back to Mexico. I've been released on June 1st of this year. I'm heading back to Mexico. My work is done here. Now my work is done here. And I get to go back and delve deeper into my spiritual practices. And I'm so excited to get that peace, to come up from up under this density. And yeah. So that's it.
That was ethereal and Queen. Uh, I have had great discussions on mindfulness, trauma healing, finding one uh, through spirituality. Yesterday, having a conversation with one of my guests, Ellen Slater. So she was talking about asking questions with, from yourself, within, inside out, your inner self. That am I enough? That is the first scaffolding. So she calls it scaffolding. That's the
Oh,
one.
that is awesome. Am I enough?
Exactly. And then the next question, uh, what I do, or may I know that am I enough? And then the next level. So it's not like, as you mentioned, it's not like just going upward. It goes up.
Oh, absolutely. They take your hand. Your soul self will take your hand. I love that question, am I enough? Because I believe when I first met my soul self, the question was, do you know who I am? That's my soul self asking me, do you know who I am? So I love that was powerful. Yes, it is such a journey. And I want that. I want that for the world because we are shifting. There will be. And right here, old earth and new earth, there will be. Because there will be some that will not. And it's also my belief, okay, if not this time, you'll get it around, you will get it the next time. We are eternal beings. We are eternal. And that was another step. Just embracing that. And that's a game changer too. That knowledge of the eternalness of consciousness. That consciousness continues to create and evolve. And I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that, all that is, that oneness. And that's why I call I'm a creator, because I'm from a creation. I'm here to create, you know, and to have fun, and to explore, and to live, and to love, and to have bliss. That's what I chose to come forth, and so, doggone, I'm so thankful I'm heading back to Mexico, so I can yeah.
We can dive deep, deeper into things where more of your gift for the upcoming generation.
Oh, exactly. I'm feeling called there. I really am.
True, that's true. And from a critic's perspective, Queen, uh, uh, they often would question whether the new earth concept is accessible to all, or if it's an ideal only attainable for those with certain privileges like time, resources, or freedom. Because if I talk about my country or my society, it's a kind of a generational trauma that we never even learned, or we never were aware about something like mindfulness, or uh, connecting inside out, inner self, or something like that. Never ever in our curriculum. There was a standard template, and we had to follow that. So, how would you address these concerns?
And that is such a concern, because when I first, for my people as well, and I'm going to tell you why that is. Why that is. uh, There were those of money, those who have money, and have privilege. Yes, they're able to take time to go within and to do yoga, and they have all of these wonderful, it's even like you go into their neighborhoods, they have the good food, they have the healthy food, they have over here, the common folk, we're so busy trying to survive. There's no time to turn inward. But even in that survival, if we would, and we're also being distracted to turn, like you said, forced to turn outward. We're be forced to turn outward. Almost, that's the programming, that's the conditioning. So your question is, what do we do? We have to spread, even in that matrix. Even in that matrix, connecting to your soul self will lead you out of it. It will lead you out of it, mind, body, and soul. Let your soul self, and I know it has nothing to do with their. They can't help it that they're ego driven. That's ego. That's survival. See, the ego is in the front seat because is lack of scarcity. That's something that I talk about. That's drilled in you. You don't have. You got to get. You have to do. You dump the bump at extra on. You have to go. You have to. That. So that's drilled in. So how do you get a chance? How do you get a chance to turn inward? And from that, because it's all set up that way. Like in our neighborhoods, and the black people neighborhoods, we got, on every corner there's a liquor store. On every other corner there's a little church. So let's church, liquor, check cashing, things to keep you, on that grind, never looking inward. How could you? You don't have to. It was so hard trying to pilot this program, and I only got it into 2 middle schools. And many of the teachers were resentful, that they were being even asked to engage in this curriculum, because to them it was just one more thing. And here's what I learned from that: unconscious can't teach consciousness. You understand? The unconscious can't teach consciousness. Everybody's on their own journey. Everybody's on their own journey, their own path, their own lessons, their own experiences, and then and for that we go within, we find what our purpose is, because I know that I've my soul contract with my ancestors is to plant seeds and water plants for new earth living. That's that's what I'm doing. I'm planting seeds and I'm watering plants for new earth living, you know? Uh and for those who, that there's so many of friends and family that are not conscious, are not down. They're surviving. It's about that, those bills. They go to work, they pay bills. They go to work, they pay bills. They go to work, they go to church, they pay bills. They go to work, they go to church. Not a whole lot of, they don't get the blissfulness of, or the freedom of connecting with one's soul self, and then being led, guided, and directed through that soul self. Because the soul self will take your hand and gently, gradually take you, and just the journey of worth. And then you just have to be you. We're not human doing, we're human beings. So your beingness will attract, your light will attract and demonstrate. And that's pretty much all you have to do. You're not responsible. You plant seeds and water and plants. You ain't responsible. Again, everybody, and that's what I fall to when that's like, wow, look at that. When I'm observing the setup, it's a setup. It's a wheel, that keeps you chasing that carrot, or to keep you down, or to keep their foot on your neck, you know. And then the little bit they give you, the little crumbs they give you, you just sow the 1 week off. You get a 1 week vacation. You get you get the weekend, and man, I tell you.
So, Queen, before we wrap up, what practical steps can individuals take today to start embodying the energy of the new earth in their daily lives?
I am so glad you asked that question. Thank you for that. And look, I kind of fell upon it myself, and I'm gonna tell you how this all started. I was living in Mexico, but and experiencing some things. However, my daughter had a baby, and she lived in Salem, Oregon. And so I went to be with her for 2 months to take care, help her take care of the baby. And when the husband came home, from work, I let them, bond in that way and grow. So I spent a lot of time up in my room, and I came across a meditation series. It was a 21-day meditation series that Oprah and Deepak was doing. Yeah, So, hey, like I said, I'm up in the room, letting family, be family, and bond in that thing. When he came home from work, during the day, I worked, and all that. But, and so I did it 21 days straight. It was, and, maybe just some unctioning on the inside, and I did it for 21 days straight. And remember, like I said, that was with my daughter for 2 months. But after that 21 days, I think I had maybe 3 or 4 more days left when I returned to Mexico. And after it was over, I kept doing it. I kept doing it. I kept, after, and see, theirs were guided. And that's the point. That's the point I was trying to make when you said, what do you suggest? This is what I suggest. No one can just start meditating. There's no way. You'll be all over the place with that. You have to be taught. You have to be guided. No one can just do that. Okay? You learn yoga. You learn, how to do yoga and all those other things. You have to learn how to meditate. So get a guided meditation. And like I say, once again, here's technology on point. There's so many. If you just YouTube uh uh guided meditation, meeting inner self. They have meditations for meeting your inner self. I met my inner self not through Oprah and Deepak. That they guided me as I say, oh, so this is what okay, okay. But when I did it on my own, I went to YouTube and got a guided meditation, meet your inner, and that meditation led me to be able to meditate on my own. That took me in all the way. So my suggestion is, please get a guided one and charge yourself with 21 days and make it no more than 10 minutes. A 10-minute guided. Don't try no hour, don't try a half an hour. That's too much. Baby steps, y'all. Baby steps. Do a 10-minute. Next thing maybe a 15-minute. 10 minutes is fine. Next thing you know, you're going to look up and it's 15. And when you're on your own, you're going to look up and doggone it, it's 20. And you're in there now. You in there. And wow, what you will find in there is peace and love and 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 strength and wisdom and encouragement you continue to be reminded of who you are. They meet with you almost like your soul selves. They sit. It's a council of sorts, and it's a beautiful. Oh my goodness, it's a beautiful thing. So my encouragement is, and that's what my curriculum does, very gently. It drops nuggets throughout, but I'm turning them inward. And it's the curriculum basically uh focuses on self-awareness through activities that foster mindfulness, self-management, relationship skills, social awareness, and conscious decision making. See, that's what's missing in the schools. You just have a course in it. Have a course in mindfulness. But when I was trying to get it into the schools, I tell you, I would go to school board meetings and and meet with districts, and they would be at their throats about this and money, and then I would get up there. Yes, I've created a curriculum that's good for my, and they would listen to my commercial and then say, thank you, next. Again, so I'm trying to find, I feel like I'm almost gonna have to go underground with this. Those homeschoolers, those who are awakened and looking for, uh, because I know that the work is light encoded. So therefore, when it will resonate with those it's supposed to resonate with. I know, and get to where it's supposed to get. All this work has not been created for it just to sit and not do what that's light, and it needs to be anchored. It needs to, and it will be. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely sure of it.
Lovely, lovely. Like the confidence and your conviction and the energy with which you explained to us, so many layers involved, but I think this was such an informative, such an enlightening conversation, Queen. And
Thank you.
if our listeners would wish to connect with you, explore more about New Earth and how they can cultivate mindfulness, how they can use meditation as the first step to start with, or get into New Earth, how they can.
Okay. For those who my traveling home together book is on Amazon. However, my blog, Flowing and Growing, It is now on a website called considerationsofthesoul.com. Now, on that, that's also Generation Alpha. That's Gen Alpha's website that goes along with the curriculum. All their material, as far as their reading material, is on considerationsofthesoul.com. So my blogs, and that one I was telling you about, the energy of Lakeside, when I was living in Mexico, that one is also on there. It's up under the blog, Keeping Tabs in Mexico. So Considerations of the Soul, have them scroll down and they'll see Flowing and Growing. There's some great articles for them to get them started. My book is on Amazon. And also my nonprofit organization, the Keep Up with the Curriculum, that's FULA, FUL FULA, FULAamerican.org. And then they can just click on 52 Insights if they want to keep up with that. What's going on with that? It's being piloted right now in 2 middle schools. So after this school year, I'm getting it out. I'm getting ready to set it on fire. And let's see those who it's for, those who have ears, let them hear. Right?
Great statement. Those who have ears, let them hear.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we'll make sure to have all the links mentioned in the show notes. And Queen, what an inspiring episode. What an inspiring conversation. I think from exploring the essence of a new earth to connecting with roots and empowering the next generation. I think you have reminded us that transformation starts within us. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you. Thank you. I'm going to, like I said, that introduction lit me up. Thank you so much for that. I needed it coming off of a week that I had. It's been a week here. What you've done has just really, I thank you for that. What a wonderful exchange. What a wonderful exchange today. And how I like to leave
for a kind word.
When I say my sign off, it's simply one light, one love.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful. So, listeners, if today's episode resonated with you, check out Queen's books, her blogs, her mindfulness curriculum to dive even deeper into her wisdom. You can refer to the show notes along with this episode. And thank you to all of you for joining us on this journey of self discovery and growth. Until next time, I'm your host, Sana, asking you to live mindfully and creating the new earth for tomorrow, and keep shining, keep growing, and as always, stay present. Thank you.